Hello everybody and welcome to another tutorial in camera and lens repair. And a friend of mine asked me if I could take a look at this Canon Zoom Lens EF 24-105, and it's at Aperture 4, and it's the L IS, it will say image stabilizing, and it's a USM motor, but it has a usually error 01, which most of the time is the aperture problem. So what can we do about it? Well, this nice old lens, I think it performs quite well, but it has this annoying well, let's say the squealy sound when you put it on the camera and you turn it on and you set it to something you probably can hear. Yeah, and it's because inside here you maybe cannot see it. I think it's difficult, but right down there the aperture assembly, because it only happened, I mean most of the time it only happened when you go farther out than, let's say 50, and it disappear around 35 or so, 24. But as I focus, it will go on something. Yeah, it has to have focus, kind of. But what happened actually is, if we take a picture or so, sometimes it happens, sometimes not. It will not. Well, sometimes it's come with the annoying error 1 in the display, but yeah, I cannot really let. Yeah, if I take a picture now, yeah, well, here we'll see that the annoying noise will come again. Communication between the camera and lens is faulty. Clean the lens contacts. Yeah, well, we can clean them a lot, but it doesn't really help. And that's because it's not the camera or the lens here, the contacts. No, we have to dig farther into the lens. So I would think, well, there are many other people who made some videos about it, but I think, yeah, I would like to do it the same. Not really the same, but with different details. So let's jump into it. But before doing so, this is what it looks like taking from another, actually my own lens, with the same, it's the US Mark 1, but you see the flex cable is actually broken, and it happens when the lens has been zoom in and out how many times, and it simply break off here. And this is because of a bad design, in my opinion, because, well, not really the best thing. So I ordered a new one, actually 2 of them, one for this lens, one for my other lens, and it looks like this. You can see there is a difference between the two. This is the new one and the old one. It does the same, but I think it may be different manufacturers. So it has to be like this, something like that. So but we need to dig into it. And there are actually, I mean, it's not that hard to do. Before doing so, we have to do something to make set marks. And that's the important thing here when working with, I mean, there is no, I haven't found any repair manual for this lens. So we begin to set the set marks here on the focusing ring inside here, because if we take off the rubber, it's a bit sticky, and I haven't been into this lens before, so I have no idea what to actually meet. But like I have been into my own lens, I know where the contact in here, there is a contact bridge that we need to set mark before we take it apart. So it's a good thing, because if there was a repair manual, well, would they say something about it? Maybe, maybe not. So you see, if we look closer to here, when this lens is fully zoomed out to 24, you see there are some contacts in here. So when we move the lens, it goes all the way to 105, and it will end up all here. But if we look a little closer, you might see there are some gaps between the gold area on the circuit board, the flex circuit board. And those contacts here has to sit correct. So it will say when you zoom out or zoom in, they will go over different steps, areas of where there is no gold plate. And if this bridge sit wrong, well, you will have a wrong data into the camera. So what we do here is set a mark, so you know the position of this one. You can also set one over here. So the two marks are in line with each other, this one here and this one over here. So you know the exact position of this when you assemble it again. That's what we start with. So now I can unscrew it. Oops. And that's what we begin with. So, with that, and out with the little brush here. So, and we can just close this again. So now we're going to what I found out when I took apart my own lens was, if we go into here first, take out the whole front lens group, because then it will be, in my opinion, easier. Maybe I'm wrong in this way, but it will just be easier to put in the focusing element here. You see, it can be a little tricky, if not. Yeah, so I'll just check out the front lens group, and using a spade dentist tool, I can dig under it here. And since it's not adhesive, I mean, maybe someone has been into this lens before, because this name plate sticker is very loose. So I guess maybe someone has been into here without knowing it. But so it is. Yeah, I guess someone has been in there. So now we see there are some screws, and you see one screw here, there and there. But before move anything, we need to set marks, at least one, and we can just do it, not this one, but this one here. So set a scratch here, something like that, and we can also do it here. So now you can see the two marks here are in line. It will say I know the position of the front lens, where it should sit. And also I have my reference mark is here, my index mark. So I know the position of this one here. So then we can take this out. And nothing really much will happen on the front until we come further into the lens. And we can also set a mark where the screws has to sit. It's a good thing to know, because well, it can be confusing. So there and there. So now we have actually everything lined up, which is good. So that's it. And then I can take it out. So now with a if you have a lens sucker like this, it should be with no problem. You maybe have to wiggle a little with it, but I will also try to use my motorized lens sucker, which I like to use. So it can be taken out, and so it's free, and put it on a stand like this, so it will be in a safe place. Now since we are in here, we can set it to near end. It will say over here near end, so the pin in here, which is actually connected into the USM motor. So I will just set a mark in here. No one will ever see it, except if they open the lens. So in here. But it's good if you, when you do not have a repair manual for this. We can also set a mark down here, just so we know things should sit when it's lined up. Is you only back up. So now set the lens to, now I mean the zoom to 24, and then we can begin to take it apart. The mount sits with 4 screws, and there is a little cover around here that we just need to lift up, and for that we need a little screwdriver or so. It can be very handy. Just dig into here. Maybe a dentist tool can also be very handy. Sometimes they sit quite tight, this this cover here. I don't know what the name is, but it doesn't really matter. So one, lift this up, and so we're getting there. Have a dentist tool, which is good. So yeah, you hear the clips in here. The plastic is a bit brittle. So now we see it looks here. That's it. And then we can take apart the two screws that hold the contact bridge here. Out with those. Have a finger or so it's so that, and you can just push it out a little. Sorry. Now the 4 screws, and just what I need to say. This is a Japanese lens. Yeah, and in Japan they use JIS screwdrivers, not Phillips screwdrivers, just so we have that clear. So if you try to take apart a lens with a Phillips screwdriver, you can probably damage the screws. And maybe we can try to, maybe it's not the best screwdriver for that, but if we take another one, could be this one. Well, you see it slips, and this is actually a PH00. It doesn't really work, but if I use my JIS, it will sit in the screw head. Just to make that clear. So we have that in there, and we take it apart. Here, sit with some screws, and I have actually magnetized my screwdriver. For that, it will make it a little easier. So, just to get the screws out. So there. And the last screw. So now we can lift out the mount, take care of the rubber gasket which is around here, the weather sealing, and make sure the contact spring is free of the hole here. If not, and you just pull it out, you could damage the flex cable. So be gently. This is how it looks. Now, then we are in here, and we can lift off the back ring here, but still make sure you have you are very careful to the flex cable here. They are quite fragile. So now we look into the circuit board. It has a lot of flex cables here, and be really careful with them. They are very thin. So yeah, I need to lift up those locks here. You can see, just lift them up. And also with those plastic locks here on the other type, be very gently with them. I mean, somebody else, they use a different method, but make sure they do not break. And I actually have taken a picture of I mean my test focusing board before I took the lens apart. So out with those, and the big one here, lift up in the middle. So and so they should all be fine. Now I have made myself a rubberized tweezer, which is quite handy in this case, not pulling too much in the flex, and it actually works pretty good. So, but with the other, it should not be a problem just pulling out very gently on the flex, but you can see it's still. There could be some additive tape on the back side of this this little, you see here, maybe you can see it here on the back. There are some sticky kind of tape. So if the cable sits too tight, be careful. So there, and this big one, not a problem, and this, no problem. I can see other people have been into this lens. Maybe it has been repaired earlier. So now all flex cables are free, and the circuit board sits with one screw up here, and so it's out. That's it. And now be very gently when you lift out the circuit board, not pulling too much in it. So this is how it looks on the other side. So that's fine. So now we look into something that we need to work with, and the flex cable is this one. It goes down here, and as you might maybe can't see, I know it can be difficult, but if you look here, if I move the zoom ring, we probably can see in here, you see it bends, and in most cases it's the problem. So we need to dig into it. But it looks like nobody else has been in here, because you can see there has been some varnish here, glue maybe. So it looks like that no one else has been in here. So we can just dig into it and take it apart. But before doing so, we need to set some marks. And it will just make it easier for you when you take it apart and assemble it again. So this screw here, this screw here, this one here, and there is another one, let's see, down here, this one. So it will take out the zoom ring, and we also need to take out the key here, the zoom key. When you move the zoom ring, it will go all the way over here and ended up all here. So when I take it out, I will set it there. And then we can take out the 4 screws. Not yet, because I need to take out the zoom ring first. It will say the key has to come out here. Oop. And it sits quite tight. So we can try to just for fun, try to use a Phillips screwdriver for this, and it cannot really do anything. It will just go around the screw head, and if I continue to use it, I will probably damage even the screwdriver or the screw head. So I will just continue with my normal screwdriver. That's why it is so important when you work with Japanese lenses. So if we can, you see, it has to move a little out there, and the key is free. So we can lift it out, nothing special. And then, because I already took out the brush here, I can now take out the zoom ring, and it has to go all the way over here, and no, sorry, has to go over here. So it'll go beyond. You have 24, and it goes beyond that as long as it can, almost. So you can see here, there, and there. Then I can lift it out. No problem with that. And here we can see what's happened. This is the circuit board, I mean the flex for the zoom. And yeah, so we can just continue. Take apart the 4 screws that hold the outer housing here. And over here, no. Yeah, I have to take this screw out that actually hold the ground for the flex cable. So this screw also have to come out. So. And also the one beside there. So this is actually different. Yeah. Let's see what's happened here. Well, so there. And this screw here. So now it's actually free. So now what I will do now is actually set a red mark here. And also a mark here. Because when I take out the barrel here for the zoom and oh, it's not good here. Yeah, one have to lift up the flex cable here. Where's this tweezer here? This one have to be lifted up. So. And lifted away like this. So you have to move it over here. And then you can lift out the zoom barrel. So it's free, and there's nothing really special in here. Yeah, it looks like somebody has been in here. No, doesn't matter. So now we look into the actual USM ultrasonic motor, and we set the focusing ring to macro. It will say over here as long as it can. Then we can take out the whole motor here, and it sits with 4 screws. One there, there, and yeah, well, I already took out one here. I will say this one here, and there's one here. So yeah, we take out you. So there is something there. Yeah, it is the same lens, but I mean, something looks like it's different. But yeah. So now I can lift out the focusing motor. It will say the whole, is it everything? Looks like it should be free. I missed something. This little screw here that hold the flex cable in place. So it has to come out. Wow, it was actually very sticky. So now I can take it out, but I have to be really careful, because when I take out the zoom here, I mean not the zoom, but the focus motor, I have to be careful. And so there. See, this is the, if you can hold on here, this is how it works. Or the focus. So put it aside, and see the focusing ring, I mean the focus, the front focus lens, it can be pushed out here. So if we turn it as long as you can, it will be free. So I need to set a mark where it actually come off. That's important, because then I can take it out. Nothing special. Looks like this. This is the key where this pin comes in, and we can just see if here So this is where it goes to. Hope you can see it. So when the focusing ring turn, it will also turn the focus lens. So now, actually, I need to set this into there. This is fine. And I had a mark. Oh, I need to change battery. Sorry. So, continue. There was one thing I was wondering about, and that's just to make sure. Because then when we put the lens back into place, you see when the zoom section is fully pressed in and the front end is here, is as far out that it can come, I mean in, of course, then I need to, yeah, it was correct. So I set a mark here where the focus assembly here come off, and I will do the same here and here and here. So now I know exactly where they should sit. You see, you have the gap here where the focusing tab is going through, and so when I turn the focus lens, it will go all the way over to here, from here to here. So now, in this case, the red mark here on the front is actually my reference during the rest of the disassembly. So if we set a mark here, and it will also go down to here and here. Remember, there's no service manual for this one. I mean, I haven't found it yet. So now we can continue, and because I need to take out this barrel here, and it's sit with 3 screws. Big head, this one, and this one. And yeah, I will just take them out. So now I know their position and where my screwdriver is here. And another thing with those lenses is actually those 3 screws sometimes are very loose. I think it's a special Canon thing, but they get loose over time. And I'll just take them out. So now the barrel here is free, and where is my reference mark is here. So now I can just pull the red marks here, all the marks are down here. So I can just pull this out, and I know the position of those things. This is just a tube, nothing special. Now, I found out working with the other lens that they are sitting 3 small piece of metal here. I don't know the name, but I need to have them in place all the time. It will say when I took out the inner, it will say the aperture assembly. Those 3 tabs will fall out. So what I found out is actually using 3 spacers, 3 small spacers like this one. It's not much, but the thing is that I will use the screws here. Oh, where did that go? Okay, find it anyway. So use those as they will hold the 3 pieces of metal in place like this, so they cannot slide out. Oh, I found it up here. And it will make it a lot easier when before you take them apart. So you just put a spacer over here. It's something like 4 millimeter in the hole. And since the screw head is much bigger, there is no problem. I mean, you do not have to tighten the screws here. It will say just very gently. So now we are ready for the next step. My mark is here, and I have my mark up here. So now this ring, I need to take out the 3 screws and the 3 white rollers here, which are not rollers, is piece of nylon or so, and it would slide up in here. So I can just take them out. There's no adjustment for those, so they can just come out. You see, it's a little special screw, so keep that in mind. And this one. Where is my mark? Should be somewhere here. The mark is actually where this notch is, so there is no problem. So I make myself a tweezer with the 2 legs pointing outwards instead of inwards. It should be quite easy to put them in here and lift out the roller or the plastic tube here. See, it's much easier than using a plier, and you do not damage them. And in that way I can, where's my mark? Here. Yeah. So I can take this ring out. So, see? And it should of course go in the same again. So now we are going into more, let's see. You see, we need to go into take out the Aperture assembly out. And the Aperture assembly is sitting with this, and this screw. And yeah, I will also take the back lens out here because I do not need that in this case here. And it's it with 3 screws. Just have my mark in place so I know where it goes. And remember one thing also, keep that in mind. You see the flex cable is actually going into here. So yeah. See, it has to sit correct when we put it back in again. Now, that was a bit of a part. So take out the 3 screws around here. And there might be some spacer in here. At least there are a spacer on with one of the 3 screws that's holding the back lens. But there could also be underneath here 3 spacers that used to align the back lens. Also a spacer. And the last one here. So be very careful when you lift out this back lens. So when we carefully lift it out, yips, you see 3 spacers. And how should they sit? Well, it's better than we set a mark on each of them. I mean, at least 2 of them. So if my reference mark is here, it will say, it says 1, 1, and 2, 2, and there and there. And there is no need for setting 1 mark on the last one. So now we know those are sitting in the correct place, position, and we can take him out. Where is my little tweezer? No. Just use another one. And they are probably not the same size, I mean the same thickness when they sit there. So one have to be careful and not just take it apart. So, out with those. And that's it, actually. So now I can take out the aperture assembly. And let's see. Yeah, you see, the aperture assembly is actually sitting. You see, there is one leg here, here, and here. And when I move this, difficult. Now, doesn't really matter. Maybe I can do it anyway. No. I'll just take out, let's see where it goes as I remember. Let's see. Oh, there was something. Yeah. I can just move out the inner, I mean the lens, the aperture assembly. So there, yeah. So what I found out earlier in the other lens, there is no need for taking out the image stabilizer, because it sits with 3 adjustable rollers here, and they have to sit correct, so there's no need for doing that. I only take those 3 screws here, this, and this one. That should be enough for taking out the aperture assembly, because they are no possibility for adjust them, so there's no problem with those. So out with that. So if you think, well, I'm sometimes going out of a different tangent, maybe someone mentioned that. Well, there is no service manual for this. There is no one to ask. So how would you think of, okay, I really have to think carefully before you do anything. So now I can take out the black rollers here, or what name they have. And this should be possible with this one. Maybe they sit a bit tight. Could be. Yeah. But they are soft plastics something. So maybe it's better to use a plier. Which can be not pressing too much. Yeah. And there's no need for adjust them. So now when I move the rest here, the aperture assembly will be free. So if we have a finger in here, you can see now it's possible to move it. But I need to take out this brass thingy. But as long as the flex cable is already broken, it's not a problem. I think I will just take it apart if it's possible. I will not cut it yet. So just lift this out a little so it's free. And take care of the flex here. The sticky tape is quite strong. So this is how it looks. And now I should be able to maybe cut the cable, flex cable. Yeah, you can see it's damaged here and up here. So I will just cut it into, so I get rid of the one end of it. So now it's another broken cable. Then I can take out the whole aperture assembly. So it sits there, and you see the gap here where it should go through. It should there should be space enough, because I found out a good solution for that. And now this is very important. As I read on the internet, you see those small, it looks like a screw, but it isn't. It's an eccentric. So when you use a Allen key, which is very small, well, this is a hexagon key 0.9, and this is really small. So you can adjust those 3, not screws, but eccentric, and it will turn the whole lens here around. And of course it has to sit correct. And before I take it apart, I found out, which I think it's a good solution, because it works in my own lens. So what I do is actually making a scratch here. Before I take out both the eccentric, I will also set a mark there, but also the 3 screws sitting around here, there and there. So making a scratch here, it will say, I know the exact position of that, as I understand. Because when I tried in my own lens, there is, if I move the little eccentric, this one will move slightly, and of course also the other one, so it will move slightly a little. And of course, if those 3 eccentric does not sit correct, the lens will not be aligned correct. So maybe I'm wrong, but it works for me, and I tested my lens, so it works really good. So now we need to set a small mark where each of those small, you probably cannot see them. Yeah, I know it's difficult. You see there is a little, not a notch, but it's a boring kind of. So it has to sit correct. There. And the other one is over here. So, and of course the last one here. And it's more even. Over to here. So, and I will simply set a mark on each of them. And where's my flex? It's over here. It will be my starting point. Is 1. And this will have number 2. So there. And of course, the last one is number 3. So I need to take those out before I unscrew the 3 screws. And since it's not a screw, I can just, yeah, we have to loosen the screws first, of course. I will just show you what happened with those eccentric, because I think it's also important. So if we take, let's say, number 1, there. So if we look, hopefully you can see it. If we go there, if I turn the eccentric, you will probably see what happened. To one side or the other. So as long as I set a mark here with each of them and a mark here in the plastic, I think there would be a good, I think it will work pretty good as it works in my lens. So I will just not unscrew them but pull them out. And it was number 1. So we just have them in correct order. And this one will be number 2, if it's possible. You see, it is an eccentric. Hopefully you can see it. No, I know it's difficult to see. Anyway. And so the last screw. Eccentric, haha. So now the aperture assembly is almost free, but I need to unhook the rest of the flex here. Just pull it and take care of the back lens here, not touching it. So then I can unscrew the 3 screws holding the lens here. And this one can actually only sit in one way, because this one here it's not the aperture actually. It's more the, when you zoom in and out, it will be this one that also follow the, so you have the constant F4 out with us. It's all the same screw. Well, there's a spacer here. There was nothing on the, yeah, there was another one. So they all have a little spacer on those screws. So now we are into the, almost there. So we can take this out. So this is how it looks, and where can I just put this here? So then the last thing is to unscrew 3 screws holding the aperture assembly in place. And then we are into the middle of the lens. Yep. So let's see if we can make it. They have used some kind of varnish or so to hold the screws in place. But yeah, I have a, oh, this one here, so you can lift it out. There's a bit sticky tape here, and then out it comes. And this is the older version. Now you can see it looks like this one here. And I guess this is the older version when I compare to the new version, which actually works pretty good. So yeah, and that's it. And I will stop here because I think it takes too long. So I will also make a video about the sample process for this. So see you soon. Bye bye.